Well, you've been involved in reforms at the state level and at the federal level. What do you see as the missing link that needs to be corrected?
I think basically what I would say is that unfortunately I believe that we need to have the right people in the right positions in government. We need to have the right minister. I hope we're going to get a good minister who is a practitioner. You know, if you don't get into the classrooms and you don't know what's happening in the classrooms, it's very difficult to know what the policies to set. So government needs to involve practitioners. They need to involve technocrats. You know, they need to involve the schools themselves when they're talking about policy. There's no point having a policy that does not work. You know, because you are a minister, you might not even be an education expert or whatever. So they need to call stakeholders and say, let us come together. How do we all come together, private sector, public sector, in order to resolve this big problem we have? Because we have a really, I believe we have a crisis in this country when it comes to education. So that's what I would suggest, is that all the parties need to come together. We need to look at our curriculum. Our curriculum is archaic. It is not looking at the 21st century expectations for the children. It's not skilling the children, the students very well. So there's a lot that we need to do, and I hope that we have a good minister that is more of a practitioner, somebody who has actually entered the classroom. Because really, you cannot sit in Abuja and expect that everything happens in the classroom. So there's a need to pay attention to what's happening in the classroom. There's a need to monitor teachers. You know, teachers attend classes. When you don't attend classes, how do the students improve, or how do they pass the exams? You know, there's a huge need for monitoring in the public sector. We cannot sit in our offices and expect that we're going to get results in our classrooms. It's not going to happen. I have a school, I go around the classes, I observe my teachers, I monitor my teachers, I track results, I do all of that. And in the end, I get the results, because I do not have a choice. My parents are paying. And unfortunately, accountability is a problem in public sector. If a lot of money is going down and there's no accountability in terms of nobody's monitoring as much as they should, we need a very rigorous inspection system, not inspecting infrastructure, but inspecting teacher delivery. We need to teach our teachers how to deliver, you know, to impact, like I said. So all of those things, you know, it's like a bowl of soup. When you're cooking stew, you need to put the right ingredients in there. So it's important to put all of those things in there. The curriculum is critical. The teaching methodology is critical. The compensation is critical. You know, so many things have to be done at the same time.
You know, I'm just wondering, I mean, practitioners like yourself, has it ever been suggested to authorities, either at the federal or state level, to bring persons like you in to come and help draft some of those policies, or take a look at what is existing now and say, no, we need to change this, since the public schools have really got to improve?
Well, I was involved in the 2007 reforms with Dr. Ezekwesili. I was involved, and we had about 11 thematic areas, and one of them was a strategy for teacher training. There was a very robust strategy, but you can imagine that the implementation wasn't done. So it's not that we don't have the ideas. We really, I can tell you something clearly. The solutions are there. We have a lot of solutions for a lot of the things that happen in the education sector. Excellent teachers that are working with me. They are passionate. They go beyond the call of duty. But then also remuneration is critical. But when you look at public sector, I have worked with Lagos State. I have worked with the federal. I have seen passionate teachers, very passionate teachers, even beyond what they're given. But they also need encouragement and development, professional development. They need to go for courses. You cannot be talking about things of 19th century in 21st century. So they tell me, Mrs. Osama, we don't have a laptop. A lot of stuff that we teach teachers. We have Stephen Adams. It's an NGO, and we actually take our teachers to teach public teachers for free. We do it on our own, and we teach them. And when we teach them so many things that we're teaching, they say to us, we don't have a laptop. And that's okay, use your phone. At least you can get access to resources online, you know, to use your phone. So we try and teach them, we try and encourage them. And I found the very, very, very wonderful men and women in public sector, but they just need to be encouraged. They need to be well compensated. They need to be appreciated. The teaching has to become a profession. It's a very prestigious profession everywhere in the world. It has to be the same in Nigeria.
Talking about appreciation, as it were, honoring our teachers, do you think that we have enough awards, you know, prestigious awards that goes to encouraging teachers and encourage them to be the best? Well,
I don't think so. I mean, for example,
do you think it will help, for instance?
Have an award day, for example, yesterday on Teachers' Day, I would have thought that states should go out and say we want to give. I know some states have given cars and some things to their teachers, but I think it should be a national appreciation day for teachers. I think it's something that should be looked into, and we need to appreciate them. You know, when you work so hard and nobody really says thank you, it's a thankless job, and it's very, very tasking. It's very, very tasking. And nobody's saying thank you to you. You really don't feel appreciated, and you just feel that you're in the back end. Meanwhile, you are one of the most important people that we need. Without teachers, we're done. You know, so I think we need to appreciate teachers more. We need to make it a national appreciation day for teachers so that students can come out, so parents can come out and appreciate them, governors can appreciate them. And I think it's critical we look at that.
You know, it's one key thing you have highlighted here is it goes to show that confidence is very key here, and independence. And if you erode that in the mindset or in the life of a teacher, he or she lacks confidence, he or she lacks that independence in formulating policies and decisions that can help his pupils or even the education sector, then we're in a bigger mess.
Yes.
But again, if you look at it, how can we bring back all of that? You know, we are talking about a teacher's teacher. In trying to teach some of these teachers so that they can get to that level we just highlighted, for instance, if you look at the skill and the level which we have seen, especially in Finland, most of our teachers haven't gotten that kind of education. We haven't spent money in training our teachers.
Okay, I can't hear you, but I'll respond anyway, as you sort of went off there. I think, like I said, it's very important to put money. You know, there's a lot, like I said, I know for sure that in CBN, there's money that is stocked from UBEC funds, and it runs into billions. So it's not that there's no money, but the money should go to the right place. And I think when we begin to understand how critical and how important a teacher is, a teacher is important. You know, a teacher can decide the future of a child, whether a child becomes a president or whether a child becomes an armed robber. So that's how important a teacher is. Whatever you put into the teacher is what the teacher will put into the child. So that's why it's critical we put the money into professional development. That's number one. They need to go for courses. My teachers have half a day every week on training, because there's so many things that are coming up in countries like Finland, in different countries, that we need to piggyback on. We do not need to reinvent the wheel. There's so much you can do, so many resources online. You have so many things to go into. But when they don't have the necessary tools, they don't have laptops, they don't have anything to work. Sometimes they tell you that they don't even have textbooks, teachers' resources. So we need to focus. I think the government needs to focus and say, if we want to jumpstart education, honestly, we need to do something about the teaching profession.
Very quickly before we let you off, I hope you can hear me now. Very quickly before we let you go, when you use the word jumpstart, if we want to jumpstart the education sector in helping the teachers, what would be the quick win for you?
Okay, for example, the colleges of education needs to be overhauled. They need to be overhauled. I know DFID has done a lot of work in this area. So government will need to work with DFID. That's the FID, which is the International Department for the British government. I've worked with them, and I know that we did a lot of work in Kwara State, and then they're doing in some northern states. So the curriculum needs to be overhauled to become 21st century compliant. Technology is a critical. ICT has to be taught to teachers. Teachers have to teach with technology. So that's number one. Number two, we need to upgrade the entry requirements into colleges of education. Number three, we need to look at making it compulsory that it should be a degree that allows you to come in to teach. After the degree, you can do a postgraduate diploma. It is important that teachers get practical opportunities to do internships in schools. It's not just a theory, it's actually going into the schools to teach. In Finland, when we went to Finland, because we went with a group to Finland, the teachers have a teaching school. They call it a teaching school. So as they're being taught the theory, they're actually practicing it in the next few hours. So you have the opportunity to teach the theory and then practice it. So then somebody observes your teaching. Then a very rigorous inspection agency is very critical. And that inspection agency should look at the teaching methodology in the classroom, should look at the lesson plans. Teachers should have robust lesson plans, robust activities, things that, don't forget that we all are going to use this in the workplace. And I keep saying it all the time that too much theory, all this rote learning is killing Nigerians. It's really making them brain dead. We need project-based learning. They need to learn what they are going to do in the workplace in the school. So you must make it more practical. So those are the things that the teachers must learn in the College of Education. So the College of Education is the biggest one that needs to the NCC needs to overhaul that curriculum. And once we do that, I think it's a starting point, that we need to attract the best minds into education. We need to go to the universities and do a fair and try and get them to be interested in education and to be passionate. And a lot of people are. And once we tell them that remuneration will increase, compensation will improve, I'm sure people will be interested in coming to this really wonderful profession.
All right, we have to thank you very much indeed. Abolaji Osime is the CEO of Global International College, also been involved in reforms in education at the state and national level. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Well, it's time to flip over for a look at the headlines with Joker Rogers.